Welcome, brothers and sisters, to the Wease Family Circus. We have a big guest today from L.A., but first we have to tell you how to help your children when you take a pass. That's right, we're all going to die. You need to go to Clark Peskin, see my man, and you'll get hipped to an estate plan. What's an estate plan? It kills a will. A will won't do it. If you take a pass and you leave your house to the kids, they're going to have to go to probate court. Tell them, Bob.
Do yourself a favor. Go check out one of their free, completely free, no pressure, no obligation to go there to learn about their estate plans. They have free seminars on every other Wednesday at noon and at 4. You could sign up for free at WeaseFamilyCircus.com. There's a link there. And if you can't, there actually is a way to get a seminar sent to you. But I recommend going in person. It is very informative, and it can be life-changing for you and your family.
And you can go to ClarkPeskin.com also.
/Wease.
So here we are, kids. You might be looking. Is that you, Aaron Gold?
That is me, Aaron Gold.
That's you. And are you in L.A.?
Not at the moment, but yeah, I live out in beautiful sunny Los Angeles now.
How long have you been there?
I've been there almost 30 years.
Oh.
I can't believe it. More than half my life. I
Who's
followed
it?
a girl out west.
Who's the other person I saw walking around?
He's at Captivate Media right now.
What?
He's at Jake's place at Captivate.
Yeah, I'm sitting
Oh,
next
you're
to
kidding
Jake.
me.
Yeah, he's right next
Yeah,
to
that's why I said
Oh,
not
he's
at the moment.
there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I thought you... So the other person was fucking Jake.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. It's me.
Oh,
Yeah, the person,
my-
it was Jake. It wasn't the person fucking Jake. It
Yeah.
was actually Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have family back east. I come for the New York Auto Show for what I do for a living. And I do tours there too. And then between the weekends, I try to come up to Rochester, see friends, see family, see the city. Of all the places I've ever lived, Rochester's my favorite place. And I just love to come visit.
Yeah, why would you talk shit like that? You live in L.A., not Rochester. Why wouldn't you live in your favorite place?
Because my wife doesn't do gray skies and my wife doesn't do snow. And it's really hard to write about cars for a living when you live in Rochester, New York.
So
That's
is
it. It's
your
so
wife,
interesting.
Where's your wife native of?
She, California.
Oh.
So I
She
got to
had
ask
never
you,
seen.
you write about cars?
I write about cars. I'm a senior editor at Motor Trend. I was with Automobile before that. I know. I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. Yeah, I freelanced writing for years and years, and then I got a gig at Automobile, and then we got folded into Motor Trend. And all that I do, which I'm going to get to eventually, I've been reflecting a lot about it the last couple of weeks. My internship with you, I was an intern with you in the summer of '91, and that was the crucible for all that I do, for learning to be creative and communicate and stuff like that.
Wow.
Aaron Gold, kids.
So summer
remember-
'91, that is when you were an intern for Wease?
Yeah, I think it was that summer and into one of the semesters. My memory is slightly better than yours, Wease, but not
Slightly.
much.
That's not saying much.
And your father was Toby Gold?
My father was Toby. Yes, he was.
And what was he? He was in the media or something.
He was. He did radio. He did talk radio in the 70s, into the 80s. He was the action reporter on Channel 10. I think that was his last gig, the consumer guy. If you've got a problem, call the action team, 454-3030. We get results. Janet? And I remember you knew that because I got the internship, and about a week or two after I started, you turned to me and went, "You're Toby's kid?" And I said, "Yeah, why didn't you tell us you were fucking Toby's kid? We fucking love Toby," which I thought was so fantastic. And I said, I didn't want to get the gig being Toby's kid, but
Why not?
Yeah, my dad was a good guy.
So here's the
Yeah, I
deal.
went to do it.
What's that, Jake?
I went to do it on my own merits and to be my own man.
That's what.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
But I
I
have
feel the
to
same
ask
way.
a very important question, being that you work for, of all things, Motor Trend. Before we get to the funny crap you happen to know, I've been shopping vehicles as we speak. And let me ask you, you must have you ever written about that brand new Telluride, the Kia?
Yeah, I actually drove the car a couple weeks ago. We got our first drive, and then I don't think it's under embargo anymore, but because I think we just published it. But yeah, I got time in the Telluride and the Palisade. They're nice cars. I actually. I don't know if this is going to get really boring and put everybody to sleep, but besides all the cars we drive that we're testing, they assign us a car for a year, a long-term car, and I'm driving a Kia, a cheap little $25,000 K4. We wanted to do a year with just a super cheap sedan, and I love it. I like the Telluride. I'm a little partial to the Hyundai Palisade. Under the skin, they're kind of the same thing, but the interiors are really different. But
what did you drive last year in the 1 year?
So last year, I had this gigantic Sprinter van, like this huge 4x4 Sprinter van.
I don't even know what it is.
We got a van.
I saw it. Well, it's hilarious because I don't know if you remember, I'm real short. I'm 5'6". I'm a little fat guy, and I had this van that I had to climb into. I mean, it really looked like I was compensating, which I was. My wife has mules. We had horses, now we have mules, and we wanted to see if a van could work as well. I know. We wanted to see if a van could work as well as a pickup truck for horse chores. So we asked Mercedes if we could spend a year for a van, and one of the Mercedes PR people from Germany had horses growing up in Germany, and she's like, "Yeah, if you don't use pickup trucks, we use the Sprinter van. You should drive the Sprinter van." So we asked for the little one, and they gave us like the biggest one they had. This thing was it was good for me because I'm overweight, and you can't put this thing through a drive-through. It's like 6 inches too tall, so it kept a lot of burgers out of my belly. But I had the Sprinter van for a year. Before that, I had a Nissan Frontier pickup truck. Before that, I had a fuel cell powered Toyota. So anyway, but we've gotten way away from the Telluride. But yeah, I like that car.
Why do you ask? Is that what's on your short list?
Of course.
Wait. You couldn't have had the 27, and I know it sounds silly. The latest Telluride is so above the latest. It's completely different.
Why couldn't I have had the 27? I don't know if you know this, but I work for Motor Trend.
Yeah, he's a guy.
Well, I
he's
would
the car
think
guy.
you would,
Come on.
but if you did, you'd see how much better than a Palisade is.
It's the same car.
Well, the Palisade's new
not.
too.
He said the new Palisade.
He said the new Palisade is new as well.
So the deal is, it's really weird. I don't know if this is going to bore the daylights out of your... Well, you can
Who
edit
cares?
it out.
Yeah.
I care. I want somebody to watch me. So Hyundai and Kia, they're owned by the same company, right? They do all the same engineering, but then beyond that, they operate as competitors. Like if you ask a person at Buick, they know what's going on at Chevrolet, but a guy at Kia has no idea what's going on at Hyundai. So they design their interiors differently. They tune the suspensions differently. I think they do have the hybrid engine. The hybrid's the same. The regular gas engines are different. It's honestly between the two of them, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Which interior you like better? But I think they're nice cars.
Did you hear that? He settled the score right now. You came in here swinging hard for the Telluride, and he's saying it's the same thing as the other one.
Well, it's not. I mean, they do tune them. There are differences.
There's differences, but like if you were to say this one's way better than this one, it's whatever your preference is. They're both very high end. Both have new features, new updates.
Yeah, exactly.
They both did their thing. They're just which one you like better.
It's a total preferential thing between the Telluride and the Palisade.
All right, enough. I fucked up. So how
Let's
long?
talk about gluten.
What?
Okay.
How long? So what'd you do with us? Spend the summer?
Yeah, I spent a summer, and I think I went into a semester. You remember? You know Tom Proietti, right?
Oh, yes.
We all love Tom. Tom's the guy. I had him at MCC.
Yeah, you went to England with him, right?
Yeah.
I heard you mention that.
Yeah.
I remember when I interned. I went on from MCC to Brockport. I interned at a magazine in London, and I think that was the first year Tom did that program, and I went to have dinner with him. I love Tom. He's the greatest educator I've ever met. God, I hope he doesn't show up in the Epstein files after I say that. But
No.
he was a great guy. But can I tell the story of how I got my internship?
Yeah.
Please.
Because I was a student with Tom. I switched majors to communications. He wrote me my own degree program because I didn't know what I wanted to do. What a great guy.
Yep.
And so if you remember the comedy club, what was it? Yuck Yucks, Ha Ha's, Ho Ho's?
All of them.
Yuck yucks,
The
right?
club.
Bub?
Anyway, every Thursday night was free with a WCMF T-shirt, asterisk, 2-drink minimum, and BJ hosted every week, and Wease, if you remember, you hosted every other week, and it was great because. Sorry, I got a cold. I'm making all sorts of weird noises, like I'm apologizing in front of Wease. But so it was great because I had no money and I got to see all these. I mean, I could see some really big name comedians for the price of like 2 watered down Cokes. So I went with a friend to a big comedian. I want to say it was Gilbert Gottfried, but I'm not sure if that's right.
Well, he was there
I
a
have
lot.
the signed poster in my office.
Well, I know I saw him from that show. He was there a couple of times, and I remember he was on the show. I remember listening to him. Yeah. Yeah, somebody called you. They won a contest, and it was a caller. I'll never forget this. And the guy says, Wease, can you find me a job? And you go, what do you do? And the guy goes, I'm a welder. And Gottfried goes, that's funny. I'm looking for a welder. It just cracked me up. But anyway.
He said that in his voice, because he's got that
in the voice.
Up voice.
Yeah, I'm looking for a welder. Oh my God, what a loss!
Because he's reading probably more than he's hearing, so he made the voice.
Oh yeah,
and then he goes he made because he read it. Yeah, he made the voice.
I did the
Do
voice.
Do it again. I want to hear it.
Now I'm embarrassed. I'm looking for a welder.
Close. Okay.
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for
pretty good.
No one can really. It's like your voice. Nobody can do yours. Nobody does. Anyway,
nobody wants to.
Yeah, like 3 people show up, so they cancel the show. They gave us tickets for Friday night, which is wonderful. And my friend and I go off to Worldwide News, and it was a weekend you were there, and you go to Worldwide News
all the time.
And I see you there. Yeah, and I didn't know that. And I see you there, and normally I'm not gonna. You know, I know you're a big celebrity. I'm going to leave you alone.
I hate
that. But sorry.
Well, you were, so.
Yeah, you got mobbed everywhere, but it just so happens that the model train magazines that I was looking at are right next to the biker magazines that you were looking at. So I'm right next to you, and you clearly recognize me because we made eye contact. Our eyes met from across the room because there was only 3 people at the comedy club. So I think you said hello or a signal it was okay to talk or something. I said, hey, Wease. I said, I'm working on an internship with Rich Van Slyke, if you remember him.
Yeah.
Brilliant producer guy. And you said, no, brah. Now I'm doing that. Well, nobody can do the Wease voice, but there was like an accepted Wease voice that we all did. I heard BJ doing it. You know, we all go, brah, brah. And you go, no,
BJ.
brah. Yeah, you go, brah, fuck Van Slyke. Come work for me. If you're any good, I'll fire somebody else. Call BJ, make it happen. So I am like, my jaw's like dropping because I've just been handed the most desirable internship like this side of the NBC page program by the man himself. So I call BJ, I make the arrangements, I show up on a Monday, I get there way early, like 5 after 5. Uncle Raj lets me, it was the last time I was on time for your show. And Cindy was the first one to come in, probably like 5:30, 10 to 6, and she says, oh, wait, knew there was a new intern. She said, what's your name, kid? And I said, Aaron. And her eyes like go wide, and she goes kind of pale, and she just kind of walks off. And I go, okay, welcome to the Brother Wease Morning Circus, I guess. And then BJ comes in, and then you come in, and then somebody finally told me, you guys had another intern named Aaron, and the guy had cancer, and the guy had died over the weekend.
Right.
So he went home on Friday. He died over the weekend, and then I come in, and it kind of wigs Cindy out, and then you guys did like a tribute show to Aaron, and you were saying all these nice things about him, and then I don't know, around about the 8 o'clock hour, 8 o'clock hour, when probably BJ says, well, he was kind of a douchebag, and then you guys started like bagging on all the lousy things that Aaron did.
Oh, God.
Because I guess he wasn't the greatest intern. And it was a hilarious show, and that was my introduction to the Brother Wease Morning Circus.
Well, it's
it's
funny because when Jake told me that you were going to be on the program, the podcast, for a couple minutes I was mixing it up myself.
Oh, you
with
thought
the
he was the
other
dead
Aaron.
guy?
Huh?
You thought he was the dead guy?
No, but I couldn't even remember the kid. I knew I went to the house for a funeral type of a thing.
Okay.
With his family, Jewish people, and then Aaron, but it's Aaron Gold.
Yeah.
L.A.
and then-
bound.
I did get the feeling that when you said if you're any good, I'll fire somebody. I did get the feeling that Aaron was the guy who was going to probably get fired
But it sounds like nature did him did somebody a favor, because I want to. Would he have gotten fired if he didn't die?
I don't know. The only one I remember was Dee. Do you remember Dee, the killer Deadhead?
Who's that? Dee.
Dee.
No.
Dee. We called her the killer Deadhead. She was a serious Deadhead. She never smiled. She eventually warmed up to me, but she was the other intern. She was kind of the lead intern. She did the calls. I think she got the Beagles, which
I think I remember her. She was not attractive. Is that right?
I would never say that in this age of
Yeah,
Me
I don't
Too,
think you
but-
should either. What if Dee listens and then she?
Oh God, it's 100
I
years
think Dee
ago.
was probably hot. In her
Maybe
own
she
way.
got
I don't-
hot.
I wouldn't
Never
go. I wouldn't
mind.
go. I wouldn't go that far. But I think Dee would not much care about it. There was actually, if I can tell you a Dee story, it's a little out of order. But you had Pauly Shore on,
Oy.
and remember, yeah, I don't know what the hell we were doing with Pauly Shore, because it was PXY and it wasn't our audience and nobody got it. And you were doing your absolute best, and you had like a game where like Pauly would say something like in his poly talk, and people would have to translate. He'd go like, hey, check my crusty deep children on my melon, buddy, and which meant like, how do you like my new haircut? And nobody was getting it. And at one point, we had, for those who don't know, the studio was arranged so there was a glass wall between the studio and the room where we screened the calls. And so you guys could see the interns, we could see you, the phone was in the corner, we put Post-it notes up. So Dee was screening the calls, and at one point, Pauly says like, "Hey, who's the crusty chick you're on the phone, buddy?" And Dee just glares at him and puts her fist up like this. And you used to, like, when you got serious, your voice would drop an octave, and you just look at me. You went, no, brah, not Dee'll kill you, brah. And Dee with her just nods her head with the fist up. And Pauly looked genuinely scared. I don't think he had contemplated that there might be a woman between the ages of 14 and 23 who might not find him the most attractive thing ever. And Dee had barely talked to me up to this point, because I'm like the junior guy, and then we're passing in the hallway, the doors between the studio and your office, and all of a sudden we go past her, and she just stops and she looks at me. We both go at the same time, go, "Hey, buddy!" So the show was terrible, but I bonded with Dee, and then she left, and I got the phones and the bagels.
How long were you an intern for?
I wish I could remember. I know I did it through the summer, and I think I did it I either started before the semester ended or after the semester began, because I had those credits done when I started, because I know thanks to Wease, I had a 21 credit hour semester with a 4.0 average. So I did it mostly through I think I was there about, I don't want to say 2, 3, 4 months, but it was just, it was that golden age with BJ and with Cindy, and when BJ had been there a few years, and it was dialed in, and it was just, it's impossible to explain to people. People who listen to the show heard that magic, but it would just keep going, because everybody would ask me, "What's it like to work with Wease? What's it like?" And I would say the show just keeps going. It doesn't stop when the mics are off. They just keep going. And the way, every studio, has the big red on-air light. And we, as the interns, we never looked at the on-air light. You'd walk into the air studio. You'd count to 5 in your head. If you didn't hear the word fuck or shit, that meant we were on the air, and you kept your mouth shut. But if you heard an F-bomb, you went, "Okay, we're on the air. Don't talk." You guys just
Or
kept going.
the opposite.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's
No.
right.
If you heard cursing, mics were off and you could talk freely.
Right.
But if it was clean, you were on the air. You didn't talk unless you were spoken to. And I, at MCC, there was a kid at the radio station with me who was interning on the morning show at PXY. Chris Kolchuk. I think he went on to have a career in radio. I think PXY hired him. Nice guy. And he was doing the morning show, and he would tell me there was writing and doing all this stuff, and it looked so easy. Not that you didn't write. I did an interview with you for school, and you always did prep and kept up on pop culture and stuff. But you came in and just did the show, and it was brilliant. And they couldn't write their way out of that. No one has that. Sorry to kiss your ass, Wease, but no one has that understanding of comedy.
I have to interrupt you because to tell you about Pauly Shore, he is the biggest jerk off in show business.
Really?
He's such a loser. We kicked him out of the studio once. After you were gone, he was back once with a manager, and he would sit in, and he would do the manager would be him, and we go, what are you doing, man? Get the fuck out of here. But he was, that time he was in, his mother had just died, and they were having a big thing for his mommy at the Comedy Store, and he's in Rochester.
Right. I remember that. I remember that.
He is such a piece of crap.
Yeah, I remember.
So-
you.
I had no idea you hated him so much. I never heard you say, I don't think, a negative word about anybody, you know? But I just remember.
If you get a guest that's bad,
Yeah.
you know, we've had people walk out and like Greg Lake, that was another thing, and Steve O, who's a big deal.
really?
I think he's at the club in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, really?
At the comedy club, but he was in, and he said, "You can talk about anything you want. I will talk about anything
Oh,
you
right. I remember that.
want." And during like the third set, we brought up his ex-girlfriend, and he left. Got mad.
Couldn't talk.
Which we're going. I thought he, you know, if he said don't talk about the woman, we wouldn't have.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Some
I
people have no
also
sense of
kicked
humor.
out Michael Winslow once.
Really?
You know who he is.
Yeah, the guy who made all the sound effects at Police Academy.
You
Right.
got it. So he's
know
in the
exactly who he is.
studio, he's at the comedy club, and all he's doing is making noises. And I go, bro,
It started really
this
to
is a-
annoy Wease.
what?
It started to really annoy you.
Who wouldn't annoy?
Right.
It was annoying.
It's probably all he could do.
What?
You know, it's probably all he could do. He made the noises because maybe he couldn't talk.
He's
so
probably used to going on other radio shows where they ask him to make specific noises, or and with Wease, he just wanted the guy to talk and be himself.
I want to know about him.
Yeah.
Be yourself, not your noise.
Right. I know.
So finally,
Well, it's funny,
we kicked him out, and then for the next few times he was in town, he was on another station, which I was happy for. And then we brought him back, and he turned into a guy.
Yeah.
So that
No,
was
that's cool. Well, I was listening to the BJ episode again, which is one of my favorites. I just idolized BJ, and you know, BJ was a real influence on me. A friend of mine listened to that episode. He said, "I forgot how much you sound like BJ." I'm like, well, that was, you know, when I was kind of finding my voice to write and stuff like that. BJ was right there. But I remember him talking about, you know, people would come in ready to do shtick, and you just wanted to talk to them.
Yeah.
But I do remember, you know, because comedians, they'd sometimes break into shtick. And I remember, I heard this a couple times, something along the lines of like, somebody would say, you know how the Bradys didn't sleep in the same bed, and you would just shake your head, Wease, and BJ would go, Wease wasn't with us in the early 70s. Those were the experimental years.
That's for sure.
And these
Those
poor
were his
guys. But that's
Philly
why
years.
they, you know, that's why they loved you, because you were, you know, the audience, because you were them. I know you hate hearing this stuff, and I'm going to lay it on even thicker, but I just got to say, you don't care, but the people listening will care that I hope that being there and seeing that was just such an education. And I went on to have a huge interest in comedy and writing and creativity. I studied improv with an amazing teacher named Gary Austin in New York and stuff like that. And I'm kind of looking back now on, you know, I'm far enough in my career that I'm looking back, how did I get here? And I've been thinking a lot about the circus since you guys started the podcast, and realizing how much of that I learned, and I just saw the example of how it all worked, being there at the morning circus and seeing how the show came together, you know, and it's one thing. It's fine. I hope I'm not getting too geeky for everybody. I'm a huge Jack Benny fan. If you remember Jack Benny from way back when.
Well, us old guys, sure.
Yeah, you will. Nobody else, under the age of like 49 will. But huge, and there was a documentary which I saw years ago, and I just found a copy of again on YouTube. And he told Johnny Carson, he said, basically, you can get, I don't remember the exact quote, and I remembered it way wrong at the time, but what he said basically, Jack Benny said to Johnny Carson, you can go through the whole show and the guests have all the comedy lines. You don't have a single punchline. And the next day, people are going to say, did you see Jack Benny? He was so funny. And it was the same about the circus. Like, you didn't care who got the laughs, if you were getting the laughs, if you were getting laughed at. It was all about the show. And I just remember you saying, brah, that was great fucking radio, you know? And a lot of people they just don't get that.
I remember when BJ was telling the story about how they were basically making fun of their kids to each other.
I love that story.
And after, like, you know, BJ was really afraid, you know, I was ripping on his son. What is he gonna say? And when they connected eyes and they both, then he was like, that was the best radio ever. And it's when you're going and you feel that magic happening and you're riffing off each other and it's just flowing and you're looking at each other like, this is awesome. I can only imagine back then, you know.
Aaron, the whole thing is, at the beginning, the reason I got to get lucky in many ways was at the beginning of the comedy world blowing up. The comedians used to have to go on top 40 radio shows, and they would get 5 minutes, and they had to tell jokes. 5 minutes, maybe 10.
Right.
So when I got them, I said, you don't have to say shit. You don't have to be funny. Just be here and we'll talk like you're on the show. And so many people, that bonded me with more comedians, you know, way back 40 years ago. And, you know, the ones that used to come in used to tell me, I'd be on shows and the DJ would try to be funnier than me. That's ridiculous. And that really, really catapulted my situation.
And I think it's interesting because he always says, I don't have talent. I don't have talent, right? And I think it's something he's confusing with something else. And I think it is talent to be able to understand how to bring a conversation forwards and read the room and perform. I mean, like he says because he didn't have to like go refine it and study it and work so hard at it that it's not a talent, but that's what a talent is. It's a God-given gift. Like, you think LeBron James he's the best, and Michael Jordan, those two guys were given those gifts and they did work at it, but you work at it every day when you're on the radio every day. So just because you don't think you're working at it, you are, and it is a talent. So don't say you're not talented.
I always knew my son should say things like this about me. My sons, I should say. You know, I always knew that it was you have an amazing sense of what's funny. That it's just an uncanny sense of what's going to be funny. But what I realized, and you talked about it with BJ, and I listened to all the episodes. You have a great sense. I think I knew this. Anyway, you have a great sense of when it's going to stop being funny. And it never occurred to me that it might be an ADD thing, because I got an ADD diagnosis. But it's true. Too. You know? Yeah, I got it at the age of 30. A pain in the ass, but, you know, helps a lot. But it's so hard to resist that going on too far, you know? And you knew when to just end it. But if something was good, you would roll with it. And you just didn't care where it came from. My favorite thing, do you remember the Joe Cocker thing? When you were going to introduce Joe?
Which Joe Cocker thing?
You were gonna introduce Joe Cocker at Flea Pack, I think at Flea Pack, and your idea, you came on and told the whole audience, God, this is one of my favorite shows. You came on and you said, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna say, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Cocker, and I want the audience to yell back, Cocker, I don't even know her.
I am right.
And this was gonna work, right? Because half the people at that concert were listening to Wease. And the other half, we're going to hear about it. Well, BJ in his little lizard brain said, no fucking way. And every time you would say something that ended with ER, you'd say, well, this one is bigger. And BJ would go, bigger? I don't even know her. You know, I need to hire a painter. Painter? I don't even know her. And it got to the point where anything that ended in ER, he would just shout it. You know, I don't know. I think this one's a little stronger. Stronger! And then the callers got in on it and and it was hilarious and it rolled and you were the butt of the joke, but that was okay. You know, this whole thing of just BJ just deciding to ruin your plans was the funniest thing ever. And I can see I know I've met a million people whose egos would not have let them do that. And you were like, this is just great fucking radio. That, I'm sorry, Wease. Like it or not, that is comic genius.
Well, that Joe Cocker thing would have been hilarious.
Yeah, but it was way more hilarious to hear BJ ruin it, and we were all in on it. It was just great. People were calling in. I remember we had a call from somebody at the Chase Pickin Lawnmower department. It's the one time I violated the when Wease says we're done rule. I posted ER joke line 4, and you're like, no, and I said, take this one. And they said, we repair all these lawnmowers, and we repair lawn boys, and we repair Toros, and we repair a lawnmower called the Weed Eater, and we don't even know her. And so they were all in on it. The best one was, you got to remember, is it Nora Hayden? How to Please Your Woman Every Time?
Oh.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That was the best. I wasn't there for that. I was listening for that one, and I just almost wet myself in my car. That was, you guys know that one?
I don't personally.
She was a regular, well.
Yeah, she's on more than once. So what do you tell the stories?
I was there when she came back, but I was listening. I hope you find the tape. I hope you don't find the tape because I'm concerned I remember the words wrong, but I remember the gist of it. She says something, I was listening early on, and she says something about, if you're having intercourse, and she goes, oh, can I say that on the radio? Now, any normal radio mortal would say, oh, yeah, intercourse is fine. It's not one of the 7 words. Can I say that on the radio? And you said, no. You got to say football. As somebody who loves comedy, what kind of a fucking huge genius brain do you have to have, Wease, to have that brainwave right then, and then I think, how do I say this without Doreen slapping me from Florida?
She doesn't care.
Achieving doing a certain act on a woman became baseball, and then orgasms were ice cream sundaes, and.
Hot fudge sundae.
Hot fudge sundae.
Very
Hot
good.
fudge sundaes.
Good remembering.
$2 million month.
Did you find it?
Is it $2 million? I found something that says, "Can I say that on the air?" But I don't know if it's the clip.
It was. She came back, and it's another story from when she came back. I was there for when she came back, but anyway, I mean, like that was just genius, and that just went on and on. People calling up asking for sex advice using the euphemisms, and it just all of a sudden, all of us, it made everybody who was listening and us feel like we were getting away with something we shouldn't. It was to me.
No, you're right.
That's always stood out.
All
that
those,
was
all the
fucking genius.
different sayings and nicknames. It was like you were part of a club, a special
it's like we're
club.
all getting away with it. We're not getting away with it. You can say orgasm on the radio. You can say intercourse on the radio. Can't say blowjob on the radio. I learned that the hard way.
We ended up saying it, I think.
No, you would say knob job, right?
Yeah. That's it.
No, I got in trouble for it. I let a joke on the joke off through with blowjob and the punchline, and I didn't know about blow me a kiss.
Blow me a little kiss.
A kiss as you're leaving. Blow me. I didn't know about that. That was before my time. So I let this joke on. I knew the 7 dirty words. Shit, piss, cunt, fuck, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits. And I let a joke where blowjob was the punchline. And when you're screening the calls, you're kind of half listening to the show. You are, half listening to the calls. And I hear BJ saying, brah, can we kill Aaron now? And I'm like, what? And I come in, you get off the air, you go to a commercial or song, and I come in, I'm like, what? And you're like, brah, you can't say blowjob on the air. I'm like, I didn't know that. Don't you know about blow me a kiss? But I didn't know about blow me a kiss. That's the Bob that you always talk about, right?
Bob Rivers.
Who wrote those parodies?
Yeah,
not him?
Bob Rivers did the best. By the way, he has passed away. But good friend, Bob Rivers did the greatest song parodies, but Blow Me a Kiss was not Bob. It was definitely...
It's on YouTube. You can find it.
Yeah.
I didn't get to hear the song till years later, and it's hilarious.
I'm surprised you don't have it, Jake.
He probably does.
What
He
year?
wasn't looking for that.
Well, believe
Bob
me.
it was before my time, so it was like 89, 90. It's on YouTube. You'll find Blow Me a
Okay.
Kiss.
Blow
Baby,
me.
blow
It's
me.
Dean Martin and Jerry
Kiss
Lewis, by the
as
way.
you-
Yeah.
Not
Real quick
really.
though, the comedian you were mentioning earlier who was on Jimmy Carson is that guy a character in Maisel, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
I never saw him as Jack Benny.
No, they
Yeah.
might have had
They might have
somebody.
referred to him. Yeah.
They
That's what I
might have
mean.
had somebody portray him, but he's been dead.
Yeah. No.
Well,
That's what Jake means.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. He wants.
Yeah, it's
to know.
gotta be.
Might
I think-
be. I haven't seen it. He was the hottest thing in radio in the 40s.
And
And then he
TV.
went to television and completely changed. And he knew to like stuff that worked on radio wasn't going to work on TV. He was the one who's famous for that stare. But
Yeah.
he's just one of my favorite comedians. Nobody's heard of him. Like I said, under the age of 40, but just a genius. But you had that same. You still. I don't mean to talk about you like you're dead. You still have that same sense, Wease.
By
Of,
the
like,
way,
it's all about the show.
When you say Jack Benny, not 40, I'd say minimum 60
Yeah.
to know. She's in almost 60. She never heard of him.
I've heard of
Jack
Jack
Benny?
Benny. Heard of Jack.
Yeah, it's.
He's not who I was thinking.
Are
of
you
anyways.
thinking of Shecky Green or
What do you mean?
from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Jake?
No, they might have portrayed.
Yeah.
No, the guy that always got arrested with her, who really was the one that put her
No,
on
that was
first.
Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce.
Yes,
Oh,
Lenny
yeah.
Bruce. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they
totally different thing.
and they used
Similar
his,
era though, right? No,
and
No,
they
older.
and they used his name. The guy
Yeah.
was
Lenny Bruce. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
Lenny Bruce, right?
So Aaron,
They're both their two first names. So is Jack Betty. So that's why I got
was-
confused, or whatever his
That's
name
It
is.
was his vaudeville name. His real name, I think, was Benjamin Kubelski, I think, but the name stuck with him. But
So-
anyway,
Aaron, you mentioned that you were a teacher. Did you say?
no, I don't think so.
He
I might have
mentioned
lied
Tom
and said that.
Proietti being a teacher.
No.
Oh, yeah.
But later he mentioned something about Austin.
I studied with I studied with an improv teacher named Gary Austin. Nobody knows who he is, but he started the Groundlings like a million years
Well,
ago.
that's a big deal.
Yeah, it was, but he left before he left before I think any of the like Phil Hartman. or anything came through there. He was in the committee with Howard Hessman, I think.
So you studied improv, correct?
Yeah.
What'd
Yeah.
you end up doing in the field?
I had nothing. I had a baby, and I mean, I didn't have the baby. My ex-wife had the baby, and got a job in computers. My ex we met in that improv class, and then we kind of started a family way too young. We went out west, and acting was kind of her thing. So I never pursued it, but I had a straight job, a real job. And I'd interned for this car magazine in England, and I always wanted to write, and I just kind of started doing it part-time. But that background has helped me so much with my writing. I mean, they give me a lot of funny, goofy stories. I get some of the funny, goofy stuff, but I get serious reviews too. But all that training, that knowing what works, that knowing when it's not going to work, that all plays in writing a good review.
Are you telling me that all this I don't believe I'll ever see one joke in Motor Trend.
Not very often. Not
Have
very
you?
often. But I get everyone, like I did a story where I took the van and there's this guy who organizes a beagle rescue. There's a bunch of beagles in the homeland, in the heartland rather, where they're just too many of them. They kill the dogs if they don't sell them as
Oy.
hunting dogs. And this guy moves them out to the Pacific Northwest, to Portland, where there's a waiting list for these dogs. It's called Project Frodo. So I wanted to write a story about that. So I pitched it. And I annoy my boss a lot, but that was my opening. I'm like, it'll be great. I wrote in the story that I told him, I'm like, it'll be great. I got to drive 3,000 miles with beagles. They're miserable. I'll probably fall off into a snowdrift, and the dogs will have to eat my own arm. I'll be miserable. You'll love this story. So, we did this crazy, stupid scavenger hunt with a Corvette Z06, which started, we've got we got a bunch of people in Detroit. We got a Detroit office and an LA office, and there's a rivalry. So it started out one of these. I said to one of our editorial heads, a guy named Eric Johnson's really funny. He has a great sense of humor. And I'm like, what do you have in Detroit that we don't have in LA? And he starts rattling off this stuff like basement, gas under $3 a gallon, Detroit pizza, a Red Wings hat, blah, blah, blah. So I had 24 hours on a Corvette Z06 to find all this stuff in LA. So, and the hardest one, believe it or not, and this is true, was a snow shovel. you can't buy a snow shovel in Los Angeles. I actually had, and I'm not making this up, I had explained to a guy at a Lowe's what a snow shovel was and what you would use it for. And what I eventually did, this is true, I had to rent a snow shovel from a prop house in North Hollywood. So I rented this. It was like a 100-year-old snow shovel, and the handle is literally 8 feet long. It's got a big chunk of wood on it. Eric is like, that looks like something convicts would use to pave a road. And it wouldn't fit in the Corvette, so we had to take off the roof, because the roof comes off the new Corvettes, and strap it.
Yeah.
And there's this great shot of me driving this bright orange Corvette with this 1910 snow shovel poking out of the roof. So we do goofy stuff occasionally, and I get to do all that cool stuff.
All right, so let me say this. I read many magazines because I'm an old guy. Young people don't do it anymore. I subscribe to many, actually. If I go out and buy a Motor Trend, am I going to see your byline?
You may or may not see my byline. I'll you remind me. I'll get you one of the cheap in-house rate subscriptions. I'll even pay for it, and then then I won't feel bad if I don't show up. Please, it's $5. It's the least I can do. All the bagels I got out of the show.
Listen, I'm a car nut, and the last thing I need is to read about cars, because I'll want one that I see. So right?
Oh well, you're gonna be.
He'll drive me crazy.
That could be all right. Well, then, Doreen, you send me $5 and I won't get him a subscription to Motor Trend. How about that?
Deal.
I'm not
We're
kidding
down
you.
to.
Something wrong with me about cars. I drive around everywhere I go, and there's I say that's that. I would like that.
I say that's a blue one. There's a white car. There's a. I do not.
Because you're bored. That's
I
why.
do not
Well,
care.
why do you think? That's why I got into this job, because I wanted to drive everything. I get older and it's less important to me. But when I was a freelancer, I mean, I drove everything. You know, I got a chance to drive it all. Now I'm with the magazine. I don't, because we have a staff, and you know, I drive and review whatever's assigned to me. But I'm the same way. I got to know what that's like to drive, and I've gotten to do some really amazing stuff. Like if I die tomorrow, knock wood, don't give the cane a hurrah. Like, I could be happy because I've gotten to do some really cool stuff. I've gotten to drive cars that I couldn't afford to even, you know, they look at me dressed like this in the showroom. I don't even get into the showroom. They, you know, the bouncer comes up and folds his arms and I don't get in. But yeah, it's very brilliant. But if you like to drive, what are you doing in friggin' Florida? There's like no. I don't understand.
There's nothing
Florida,
but wild cars down here, I'll tell you that.
Well, I know,
much.
but that's the thing. People buy these billion-dollar cars, and the roads are all fucking straight. Like,
what's wrong with that?
When do you use a Ferrari? What's that?
Well, you use it more than you do in Rochester.
Let me say, I drive a minimum almost an hour a day.
At least.
And other than 90-degree turns, how much do you turn the wheel?
You're
I
right.
mean, so there's a guy who wrote for Automobile. I started out in the Motor Trend family at Automobile Magazine. Great magazine. And Todd Lasso was the guy's name. He retired a couple of years ago. And another guy started anew, another friend of mine named Connor. And anyway, so I mentioned the press junkets we do. So when there's a new car, they fly us off, someplace, they wine us, they dine us, we drive the car. They don't have enough cars, so it's easier to bring the people to the cars than the cars to the people, right? So Todd tells Connor, like his first day, he's like, son, first rule, if the press launches in Florida, the car sucks. Because that means that, like, they don't want us to see how it goes around turns, you know?
Yeah.
But
Now,
bro,
they do it in Malibu.
You should see the cars here.
I know, I've seen it.
Top end, all over the joint. And let me ask you one more.
So many of those Tesla Cybertrucks, I think they're the ugliest thing ever.
Which one?
The Tesla Cybertrucks.
Cybertruck.
Oy, did you drive it?
They're everywhere down here,
Did you
I had
drive
a
it?
funny story. Yeah, I have driven the Cybertruck.
obviously.
And
Can I give you the long version? We got time, right? So we do this thing called Truck of the Year. We do Car of the Year, Truck of the Year, SUV of the Year. So we had Truck of the Year a couple years ago when the Cybertruck was eligible. It's anything that's majority new is eligible for Truck of the Year.
Sure.
So they sent two. I'd already driven it, and I hated it. You can't see out of it. The steering is very cool. Steering works really well. The hood will literally cut a human finger. You know, you hold a carrot and you close the hood. It's got no thing that stops you. We were crushing cans in the tonneau cover. Have you pronounced it?
Yeah.
Doesn't stop. You can put a can in there. It'll crush very dangerous. So we had two of them. So we had a 3-motor and we had the Cyber Beast, which is a really powerful one, and then the standard dual motor. And the first day we do towing, we do hauling, we drive them on the road. And I'm like, oh, we got two of them. That means I got to drive this fucking thing twice. The steering is cool because, it varies the amount of steering it's steer-by-wire in the yoke. That actually works really well. But I'm tired of it. I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I don't have to drive a friggin' Cybertruck. The next day we do off-roading. We go to this place in Michigan, Hollyoaks. It's like a big, muddy, former quarry, just kid go crazy zone, but with trucks. And we're on the mud, and they need some shots of the truck sliding around. So on the Cybertruck, you can direct all the power to the rear axle, and you can turn the traction control off, and you can turn the stability control off, and you stop it, and it just goes sideways. And they're like, we need drone footage. And I am Dukes of Hazzarding the shit out of this thing. I mean, and I'm an okay driver. I'm not bad, but I'm not great. There's faster people than me. There's slower people than me. And I am just all over and going sideways. And then I took the thing out on the off-road course. I'm going up and down. I'm jumping the thing. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, I love the Cybertruck. So at the end of that day off-roading, we go back to the office. We do the deliberations. It's a long day. We're pretty tired. We always are. And I said, I'm kind of into the Cybertruck. And my boss's boss turns to me. He's like, you hated that thing day before yesterday. One day of playing in the mud, all of a sudden you love it? I'm like, yeah, I love it. He's like, but would you want to drive it like every day, knowing everybody's going to hate you? I'm like, I think I kind of would. I nearly got fired that day. So I did kind of like the Cybertruck. I don't think I'd...
But there's no practicality to that application. Like, when are you going to be able to go take that to a place where you can literally just rip up the mud and go sliding all around?
And who would? Because
Yeah.
it's a Tesla. You're going to break it.
Yeah.
Nobody would. But which is why it didn't win that year. But it was kind of fun. But then I regained my senses. You can't wash it, and panels discolor, and it never looks the same color.
You can't wash it?
Yeah, because of the stainless steel. It's
Right.
a real pain. I mean, you can wash it, but it'll stain. You get bugs on it.
But
They'll
it's
never come out.
bulletproof. It's bulletproof.
Yeah, theoretically.
Which would have worked well where Wease played poker today at the Hard Rock Casino is where Offset got shot last night.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, the window broke on it. When you remember when Elon Musk did the demo and he put the steel ball into the window and it broke.
Oh, yeah.
And then one of the companies, some toy company, it was some Lego knockoff. They did a little model of the Cybertruck, and it included a sticker that showed the broken window, which I thought was pretty cool. You can say what you want about Elon Musk, and goodness knows he'll say what he wants to about you, but I give him a lot of credit for what he's done to bring the electric car kind of into the forefront. And every time we say nice things about electric cars at Motor Trend, we get all these letters. You guys are a bunch of California libtard tools of the Biden administration. Biden was my favorite. Obama, Biden, see what they did there, right? And we're like, no, we like to go fast, and electric cars are really fast.
Yeah.
And they handle well because all the weight's in the bottom. So,
True. Never thought of that part.
I love the Lightning, the Ford, because you get that extra trunk in the front, basically.
I use that. We actually bought a Ford F-150 Lightning because Ford wouldn't Lotus one, and then they won Truck of the Year. And part of the years they get a Lotus one for a year, so we wound up with two for a year. But we still have the one Lightning, and I used it because my wife has horses, and I had to get hay, and we got this old Chevy which is broken because I haven't fixed it. And the Lightning's got a short bed, and I put like 6 bales of hay in the back, and I had to get a big thing of wood shavings. I'm like, we're going to put these. They're not going to. The frunk! Open the frunk and put my shavings and all my feet in the frunk.
That's pretty
that
cool.
truck is great.
That's pretty
Have
cool.
you driven one?
I
Have you guys
haven't.
driven a Lightning?
No.
Nope.
Have you been in any electric car?
I've driven a old, forget what it was. like a Fiat something maybe.
Oh, the 500e. Have
I've
you
been
driven
in
an electric car?
I've been
Wiz?
in a few Teslas. I haven't. I actually have driven a Tesla, not the Cybertruck, but a regular Tesla.
Right, so they're fast.
It's like a roller coaster. You can like
Listen,
Yeah.
shoot you back.
listen, this is going to be a bad episode at this point with the vehicles,
Yeah.
but I have to ask you one more vehicle because I just drove
boy.
one. I just drove one yesterday. Have you
Uh-huh.
driven the new Infiniti QX80?
No, wait, did I drive the?
Have you heard of
I've driven the Armada. No, I was supposed to. I was supposed to take it home one night, and I didn't. But I know my colleagues drove it, and they thought it was. Wait, hold on a sec. Wait, because I know who. Doreen, let's talk.
I don't even-
make me
I
an
just don't
Make me an
care.
offer,
Can I
Doreen.
get the
I'll start
answer?
the bidding at $20.
I'm not telling him to stop.
Okay. No, we really like the Infinitis. The interiors are gorgeous on them, and
The
yeah.
cockpit is amazing.
The
really.
autograph trim levels with the quilted leather and all that
I
stuff.
got some questions. Did Ford do away with the keypad officially?
It's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that. They've had them for years. I don't know if they had or not.
Because I know they had a patent on it, and I think it was expiring recently. But to me, it's the greatest thing in a vehicle that could exist because I keep my keys locked in my vehicle at all times, and I just use the keypad exclusively to get in and out of the car. So I lock it with 2 fingers, and then I put my keypad in to get in. My keys remain in my vehicle at all.
But can you do that? Because they're keyless now. I thought if they sense, because most of them you can't lock your keys in the car.
unless
Right.
you have that. This is an override. You can lock your keys in there with
That's pretty cool.
by using the 2 buttons.
That saved my bacon like 20 years ago. Sorry, more than that, 25 years ago. My kid took a fall, my younger kid, and cut his head, and he wasn't badly hurt, but I was a real paranoid, newly single parent. So we took him by ambulance to the emergency room, and they sewed him up. He was fine, couple stitches, and I had to get him home, and I didn't want to take him home without a car seat. So I happened to have my press car happened to be a Ford Explorer, and I called a friend of mine. We knew what the code was on the press cars. It always used to be the same. So I called my friend who was going to come get me and the kid, and I said, "Okay, go by my apartment. Here's the code, so you can unlock
Yep.
the car and get."
I've
get the
had
seat out
people.
of it."
People are like, I got to pick something up. I'm like, it's in my vehicle. Here's the code. I
You know
change
what it is?
it.
No, you know what it is now? It's the app.
Yeah. Though that
So-
too, and Ford's free always.
And everybody has the app. I can right now. Somebody's driving the little K4 that's assigned to me. I can start fucking with them. I can unlock the doors. I can lock the doors. On the Cybertruck, you can do a lot more on the Cybertruck. Like you can change stuff on the Cybertruck. We learned that at Truck of the Year. We're driving along, all of a sudden the air conditioner starts blasting, doors unlock. Somebody's sitting there with the app back at headquarters screwing with us.
And
in the
people
car.
are like hacking cars and like, that's
Yeah.
where it comes to real trouble.
Apps do all that stuff. But you don't need the key
scary.
anymore. Most of them use the app as the key. But yeah, I like the Infinitis. I think they last a long time, and all my friends at Infiniti are going to be really pleased that I told you that. But that's a huge car. You really
Huge.
want to be climbing in and out of that thing?
No.
I drove it yesterday. I thought I was in heaven. It's the cockpit, and I like big. I like Jake's truck. Is F-150.
The F-150? I used to too, but they're such a pain in the ass to park.
No, once you get,
I got to think of that. But in the meantime,
I know that because
he does. You have to think of that definitely,
yeah.
because you got to park in they got to go in a garage and it's tiny
Good
little
point.
spots.
Well, I drove the van, which you can get in. You can get in the front, in Rochester and walk to the back, and you're in Syracuse. And then and I got used to that. And then I got the little Kia K4 that I've been driving around in. And then I drove the Telluride, as a matter of fact, which is not as big as the QX80. And I'm like, what a pain in the ass! I got to watch where I park. Somebody's going to ding my doors. Yeah,
No, he's driving a little car.
I know, and he said then he got to the QX80 and it's wide.
No,
and
he just said Telluride, and that felt big
Oh,
to him.
okay.
Yeah,
You're
the
not
Telluride
listening.
feels big after the Kia.
Telluride.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
So-
also mentioned the QX80.
Well, that was a
The bigger the
different-
cars are,
Yeah.
but you know what?
Context.
But I get used to the van. You get used to everything after a while. But I've adjusted to the small car now. Who knows? Next time, they'll probably put me in like a F650 Super Duty next year. So, it's not really up to me.
All right, kids, we've been talking to Aaron Gold, Toby Gold's kid. Worked at the radio show with the Wease Family Circus. Not that one. What the hell was it? I don't even know what we called the fucking show. Has so many.
It was
Morning
back
Circus.
then.
Back then, it was Brother Wease Morning Circus.
Yeah, Brother Wease
You
Morning
can stay up
Circus.
late, you can do as
Anyway.
you please, but remember,
Baby,
baby, you're waking up with the Wease. Wait, before we go,
Well, I'm
before we
not
sign
going.
off,
I want to ask you
Okay.
about your family.
Oh, okay.
You said you had a kid from a first marriage, correct?
I got 2 kids from my first marriage, and I got I'm married to Robin for, we just celebrated 20 years. So she helped raise the kids. She's fantastic. Yeah, I got a happy family.
Oh, so
No new
the
kids
kids
with
live
the
with
second
you?
one.
What's that?
The kids lived with you?
They were back before I joined custody with my ex-wife. And now one of my kids are grown now, believe it or not. My kids are older than they were when I interned for you, Wease.
How
That's
they
how
doing?
time flies. They're good. My older son's in Connecticut. He put himself through Columbia, got a master's degree, all on his
Wow.
own. Didn't say boo to us, didn't ask us for
Wow.
dime one, did it all by himself. My younger kid, actually, it's funny, I mentioned this emailed BJ and mentioned it to him. My younger kid works at a card store in Los
Oh,
Angeles.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
And he's way into that.
That's BJ's shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when it first started, I talked to BJ. I talked to him every few years. In fact, BJ, I don't even want to go on. BJ is the guy who talked me through getting my divorce.
Oh.
Like he actually was he was the one who pushed me and my ex-wife to get divorced. It was wonderful. He came to.
You should
You
have.
want to hear about this?
No, yeah, but wait, you should have your kid talk to BJ every few months. The one in the
No,
car.
then my kid will end up. I told him, I'm like, when you come to LA, you got to come to the store.
Yeah, like,
but
it's his thing.
BJ was in town for the Grammys, and we've been in touch, and we went out to dinner, and I just had a long, hard talk because that was the thing at the show, BJ was kind of the nurturing one, more so. You would think Cindy, but BJ was really kind of the nurturing one. But he was also the one insulting us all the time, but we loved it. It was like Don Rickles. You remember how he was always telling
Sure.
people to. I love that was my favorite thing about BJ. I could go on and on about BJ. I idolized BJ because there was never a. Wait, can I talk about BJ? I don't know if you want to end or go back to Mr. Peskin or what, but you could shut me up and edit me out anytime
I wanted
you
to
want.
hear
I
the
suppose.
story you were going to tell before. I think you
yeah,
were going to
how
say a
he-
memory of something with Wease, but
Oh, how he. Oh
I-
my
I
gosh!
don't-
Because I got ADD too.
No,
Yeah.
you were talking about how BJ convinced you to
Talk me through
get
my
divorced.
divorce. Yeah. So, he came and he went out to dinner with my ex and I'd kind of unloaded a bit on him, and we went out to dinner, and he was talking to me and he's talking to Lisa about what's going on with us, and I go to the bathroom, and I come back from the bathroom, and BJ goes, I just called your ex-wife a bitch. And my ex, she's like, he did. I am a bitch. You know that? I am a bitch. And then we went out, we had this long talk. We walked through Pasadena, and I'll never forget, BJ, if you're listening, I owe you big time. I hope I'm not embarrassing him. And he said, I told him what was upsetting me, and he said, why don't you say these things to your ex? And I said, well, I'm afraid if I say them out loud, I'm going to end up not married. I couldn't say the D word. And BJ said, brah, you're not married now. He said, I looked at you. You don't hold hands. You're not gazing into each other's eyes. And he basically told me, he's like, you got nothing to lose. And that talk, and my ex and I had a really good heart-to-heart, and it was an amicable split, and it was for the better. We're like, well, the kids are going to be better off in 2 potentially happy homes versus 1 miserable home. Mm-hmm. And then the next night we went to the Grammys together, and because his co-host bailed on him, and we're like in the nosebleed seats, eating ice cream, and he's like, look at us. We're surrounded by beautiful people. We're just 2 schmucks eating ice cream. And,
That's
I
Beach.
remember BJ was. You couldn't do this now. He taught me the art of being quick because he always had something ready to go. And there was never a quiet moment. You'd be sitting there. If there was a quiet moment, he'd just go. So Aaron, how long have you been a loser? Remember? And he was constantly shouting, and or he would say, he would try out jokes on me. I think I realized he's like, Aaron, you want to do me a favor and kill yourself? Just next time you're shaving, could you just cut the jugular? Thanks. You ever consider suicide? I think it could be the lifestyle decision for you. And I loved getting insulted by BJ. And we did an interview. Me and a college student, another student that I was in a class with. We interviewed you guys. We actually interviewed Kano, and you're like, what the fuck are you interviewing Kano? Why don't you interview us? And I'm like, well, I didn't know if you'd say yes. Of course. So BJ set up all the gear, and he picks up this chair. They have those chrome square tube chairs that they had, and I guess one of them had like a wood screw that went through the bottom. It was the one that faced your desk, and he picks it up, and I guess the screw goes right into his finger, and he goes, ow, fuck me, and call me Fred. And and that's what you did. It was that same face. I looked at you and you looked at me and you just burst out laughing. And it was, oh, wait, I know what I wanted to ask you. Wease. Do you remember this? Did you know about the Circle of Jerkness?
I can't remember that.
I don't know that you would have. So the Circle of Jerkness was this semi-secret society. As far as I know, BJ and Brian Dart. Remember Brian?
Yes.
Brian Dart was your producer. I was there when Courtney started, and when Courtney replaced Brian Dart. That's the year I was there. So BJ and Brian Dart were the only members, and to be in the Circle of Jerkness, you had to be a dick above and beyond the level of normal dickness to either you, Wease, or to Cindy. And being a dick was a big deal at that time. Being a dick was our favorite word. Everybody was a dick, but you had to seriously, and it was like, forget about it in Goodfellas, not Goodfellas, Donnie Brasco. Being a dick was good, being a dick was bad. So one day, and the example I got, one day, people would show up to the studio, asked to be let in, most of the time we didn't. Sometimes it was if somebody was going to, show us some titty or something like that, they'd come in. So this woman shows up, and this is in the 9 o'clock hour. So everybody's there, sales team is there, management's there, building's full. And this woman shows up, wants to be let in. Apparently she's got a crush on BJ. So Brian goes, and I guess I wasn't there, but I mean, it must have been immediately obvious to Brian that this one was several sandwiches short of a full picnic. So Brian let her in. Brought her, yeah, come on in, right back to the studio. And this woman, I don't know if you'd remember this, she was a little bit bigger than a fire plug and short hair. And she's putting her arm around people, and she keeps waggling her tongue at BJ in the international, I would like to use my tongue on you symbol, and just much mayhem. And I went out of the studio because this is a level of crazy above my pay grade. And, and Wease, I never, ever, ever saw you. Oh, that reminds me of another story. Anyway, I never, ever saw you be anything but nice to the fans. Like, you were always a prince to the fans. You were never rude to them. And I think you, even didn't know what to do. You're trying to go on and just do a normal show, and this woman is, just creating mayhem in your studio while you're live on the air. And BJ, if you remember, when things would go wrong, BJ used to yell for Scotty. Remember that?
Yeah.
Scotty.
Beam
and
me
the
up.
worst thing... just Scotty. And the worst things were the louder the Scotty. So, as interns, if we heard Scotty, we came running because we knew something bad was happening and it was going to be hilarious and we wanted to see it. So I'm staying out of the studio, and BJ runs out, while we're on the air, runs out into the middle of the hallway. God, I hope this is as funny to everybody it was to me. Runs out, and remember how physical he was when he would shout? How he'd put his arms down? And the loudest goes, Scotty! The loudest I've ever heard, runs into Cindy's office, which is across the way. We had these phones that were intercoms. They had speakers on them, so you could tell somebody goes, dials the number for every phone in the place, every phone in the studio, and the place is full. Salespeople, clients, stands there, everybody. Every phone in the place goes, Scotty, I need more power now, or we're all dead. Scotty! And back into the studio, and then Brian Dart walks by me and goes, that's how you get into the Circle of Jerkness.
Well, let me just tell you what you just reminded me of. One of BJ's favorite songs that he made up was Wease is a dick. Wease is
Wease is a dick.
Everybody knows that
Wease
Wease
is a dick. Yes, I had it sung to me. Aaron takes it in the face. Aaron takes it in the face.
Jesus.
Everybody knows that. Oh, that. So
That's BJ.
the other story. Can I tell you? Can I tell one more story?
I just want to ask you another question.
Yeah.
What do you mean you have mules?
I don't know how to say it in other words. There are mules, and we own 2 of them.
The animal.
Like it's not a. Yeah, it's the animal. It's
not
a
a
euphemism.
drug.
It's,
Not a drug.
Yeah.
You know.
my
The
wife
only-
is a horse person, and now she has, instead of horses, she has mules.
Well, it's funny because on the way to our summer home, there's a place that sells baby mules. They have a big sign in the street.
Yep.
And I'm always dying to stop because it has to be. How are your mules? Are they fun?
How? Yeah. I mean, I don't. Robin is the real horse person. That's her passion. I mean, you know, it's like it's a serious business. And the first mule we got as a baby. Excuse me. It was an unexpected baby. This place, this ranch near where she keeps her horses. She boards them at a place in Granada Hills, northern part of L.A. And they had bought some horses, and they weren't aware that one was pregnant. And the woman who feeds, she walks in one morning to the stall of this horse named Mercedes, and instead of one pair of eyes looking at her, there's 2. And it was a little baby mule. And the woman who owned it is like freaking out because she needs this horse for a lesson horse. You know, mama horses are busy. They didn't expect it. So she calls the people she just bought. She just bought this horse. We didn't know anything about that, which is not true. Mules and or donkeys and horses don't get together and say, hey, how about coming over for some Chivas and a little Frank Sinatra, right? You got to try to make that happen. So
Did you
she adopted
say-
this baby mule.
Did you say a horse gave birth to the mule?
Yeah, that's what a mule is. It's a horse and a donkey.
I
get
never
together.
even knew that.
A horse and a donkey is
A donkey fucked a horse?
Yes, apparently. I think they prefer the term "making love." Weeze.
Well, I just have to say, at my old age, I just learned something. Did you know that?
I knew that.
So full of shit.
It's fascinating. They have the best characteristics of both animals. So they're a little braver. They're a little better balanced.
So wait, we need to unpack this though. Did the horse owner, the original horse owner, did they own a donkey? Like, how could this horse just have been randomly impregnated by a donkey?
Yeah.
Don't you have grandkids, Weeze? Didn't you explain to this guy how these things work? Okay, there are boy bees and there are girl bees, Jake.
But there needed to be a donkey present.
No, I don't know.
Are there rabid donkeys just
honestly,
creeping up on other horses?
That's why Robin thinks the people who sold her the horse or sold this other woman the horse are full of shit. Because you do have to try to make that happen. How that happens is more than I want to know.
And then try to go sell it to somebody and pretend it's not pregnant? Like they must
They
have
didn't
known.
know. They thought it didn't take.
Oh,
I think they thought
didn't
she was just
take.
a little overweight. They didn't know the horse was. You can't always tell with a horse. I guess they didn't know They didn't think she was pregnant. They didn't think it worked. They had to have been trying it. So when they said, "Oh, we don't know anything how that happened," that was baloney. But the woman saddled with this donkey, and Robin's like, "Well, I've always wanted a donkey. One of our horses had just died." So she bought the donkey, bought the baby, donkey.
The mule.
Sorry,
She wanted
bought the
a mule,
baby
yeah.
mule, and then we kept him there and with his mother, and then we actually, that's a long story. We had the mother come to our ranch. We just walked him up the hill, and then we bought another horse as a companion horse for the mule. Now you're not going to have any listeners left.
Yeah.
We had about 2 months. Turns out he had a tumor the size of an encyclopedia.
Oy.
Nobody could have known. So we had to euthanize him. And then we wanted to get another animal because they need to be. And I'm like, and Robin was looking at this mule. I'm like, yeah, every model kit comes with a picture of what it's supposed to look like when you're done. I'm like, let's get a grown-up mule so we know what the baby's going to turn into. So yeah, now we have Ruby, who's a full-size mule, and little baby Lucas.
So do you
How
remember?
big's the full-size mule?
It's probably about 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
How big in height?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
big.
I don't know horses like my wife knows. If I didn't know, I'd think she was a horse. She
Okay.
looks like a horse. I'll
Looks
show
like
you
a horse.
pictures later. But
Can a
she sounds
horse, can a mule and a mule make another mule?
As far as I know, the general wisdom is no, but I think maybe they can. Robin, I know when my wife sees it.
So that's
she's
why
gonna
they're
be like,
rarer than because you
You
can't.
got to go out of your way to.
Yeah.
But they use them. They use them in the Grand Canyon. Like if you go riding, you
Oh,
ride
yeah,
on
right,
a mule.
right.
Because they have better endurance and a better sense of
Direction?
of self-preservation. Like you can ride a horse off a cliff. You can tell a horse what to do, and the horse will do it. And the mule will say, "No, fuck you. I'm not dying. I'm staying on the trail." So no
Got
matter
it.
what you do, the mule is not going to kill you. And they're better balanced too. They're
They're more
like,
selfless.
Yeah, they are more selfish. And they're
Self. That's what I meant.
self-preservation.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
And their weight balance is better. Like horses carry something like 60-70% of their weight on their front legs. Mules are 50-50. So like a horse needs to run to jump. A mule can walk up to a fence and just jump over it, which is something we have to keep in mind. We don't have a high fence, but if our little guy decides he wants to get out, he can just. I've seen him stand up and like box his toys like that. Literally, they're amazing animals.
Dad wants a mule now instead of a Infiniti.
It's a lot of work, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, more than you ever want to know about
Yeah.
mules.
Well, he
but
was
it's
about
my-
to ask you
I
one
was
question
still-
before you asked him about
Hey,
the horses.
Bobby.
He wanted to ask you
No,
one
no.
last
But
We
you-
knows.
but you wouldn't
Remember
let
what I
me-
said?
Okay.
God.
All right.
He knows when it's done.
Yeah, but you had a question maybe about
But you
the
should
old
have.
show.
But what
That
you
was
need to do
more interesting than
is
mules.
wait till I finish whatever,
Okay.
and then say it.
Okay.
Because I was in the middle of what I forgot now. What was your question?
I don't have a question. I had one more BJ story I'll tell
Go
if
ahead.
you want it.
Go ahead.
So BJ was the master. He knew how all this stuff worked. I watched him edit stuff. He really knew his equipment. So we would do the remote broadcasts. Remember?
Yeah,
You'd go out to
ton.
like Pool Supply or whatever.
Ton.
I don't think those guys knew what they were getting into because the places were mobbed when we did them. And I don't know how much they lost to like shoplifting, but my first remote I went to, and every time we'd come back on the air, you'd go, ladies and gentlemen, Brother Wease Morning Circus live at Bill's Pool Supply. And then you and Cindy and BJ would hold out the mics and everybody would cheer.
Yeah.
So, what you'd hear on the air was, ladies and gentlemen, live at the whatever. Right? So the mics are directional. They're unidirectional. They only pick up this way as opposed to all around. And BJ knew this. So we're at a remote. I'm standing next to BJ. You go, ladies and gentlemen, live, Brother Wease Morning Circus, live, whatever. He holds the mic this way, looks right at me, and at the top of his lungs starts yelling, Aaron takes it in the face! Aaron takes it in the face! At the top of his lungs. And I'm going, but the microphone's right there. And I'm like, okay, it's got to be unidirectional microphone. I'd never heard this. So the next remote you guys did, I wasn't there, and you come back, Brother Wease Morning Circus live at whatever stationary supply, and just very faintly, because now I'm listening for it. Very, very faintly, I hear Mike Kasko is a dick. Mike Kasko is a dick. I love that man. He was so friggin' funny.
Our old engineer, who was
Jerry.
Who was Mike Kasko?
Mike Kasko is Kasko Gladstone and Kasko.
Oh,
Remember, they were a singing
Oh,
group.
yeah.
Oh,
we
good
know
friend.
them well.
I thought you said
Yeah.
Kasko.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heart
I
songs.
think I may have the name wrong. They used to come on and sing.
Heart
you
songs.
had,
Yeah,
Oh,
they were great. Yeah, they were great.
I remember they wrote a song about when it was around the time of Desert Storm. They wrote a song, and I know they had a lyric, when the shield becomes the storm, that always sent chills down my spine. And I'm not a flag waver or anything like that, but I remember freedom isn't just a word, it's a way of life. It was a really cool song for the time, And it was, we were in that era where I think everybody was trying to right the wrongs that were done to the Vietnam veterans and treat our Gulf
Still
War
doing
veterans
it.
better. And I remember you
Yeah.
were such a big part of that.
Those guys were wonderful. It's Aaron Gold, kids, L.A., California, knows everything you want to know about cars.
And mules.
Motor Trend. Right? Motor
Yes,
Trend?
yes. Well, Motor Trend, motortrend.com. And Wease, I just got to say once more, because I don't know if I ever said it, because it took me 35 years to appreciate it, but thank you so much for letting me. I know you don't like to hear it, but to see the master at work was just a great education. And where I am now, and I have a fantastic life with a wife I love and great kids, and my dream job. And it all got started on Monroe Avenue in your studio. So thank you very much for that, Wease.
Bless you. But I have two closers. First of all, make sure if you guys are getting a will together, right?
Yep.
If you're getting a will together because you're old like me and you know Pasadena's coming at any time, you don't want to just have a will.
Do yourself a favor. Go check out one of their seminars. They're free workshops.
Who's sending me?
Clark
What ones?
Peskin. Clark Peskin every other Wednesday, noon or 4, and sign up at WeaseFamilyCircus.com. There's a place to sign up right there. Do yourself a favor, no obligation, but they will educate you and you'll understand why it's so important.
It's important because if you just have a will, then your kids are going to end up in probate, and that's court. But if you get a trust, they save all of that.
And it's more than that. They actually, it's deeper than that. And if you go, they can explain it to you and you'll understand. Even Wease can understand.
Two quick things. Last night, and by the time you see this, it won't be last night, but last night was the Buffalo Sabres Tampa Bay game. Very important game for Buffalo. As you're listening, we don't know what happened after. But we couldn't get it on TV. We're doing everything. We calling Jake. We cannot get it.
I miss the old TV where you bought TV. You before you even had to buy TV, that was even better. But then when you buy and then you get to see whatever you want to see. Now you have to know how to go through so much rigmarole to find out where it's streaming. Sign up. I was trying to sign up through Gotham. That didn't work. We ended up with a whole nother TV service that I'm going to cancel today.
So anyway, I was going to tell you before she came in that she kept trying everything. And I told her after about a half an hour, Booby, quit already. I don't have to see the game. I'll watch the basketball. It's okay. She kept doing it. Finally, we get what? Fubo TV. You know Fubo, Jake?
Yeah, it's the only other one that has the game. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Fubo TV. We finally.
Well, the Gotham
It was
people.
probably like $70, right? Right, because I remember when you mentioned that, it dawned on me. You got to sign up through MSG Plus. It's stupid.
It was
It's all
stupid.
backwards.
They didn't, even the people that worked there did not know. I had 2 different customer service people that had no clue on how I could give them money to see this game. So I said, forget you. And then Fubo is expensive, but I am on a free 5-day trial. So Doreen's canceled
$70
perfect.
a month?
on day 2.
It's something like that. Well, it's full. It's full.
It's
like,
full
TV.
television.
Oh, okay.
I already
Yeah.
have YouTube TV. I don't need another TV service.
ESPN Plus only does a there's probably 5 or 6 Sabres games that won't make it.
Yeah.
Because they can't do the whole lineup every night, so they pick and choose games. Last
What
night,
about the rest?
weirdly,
But
why would they choose the biggest game of the year to not play?
But in the meantime, there's 5 games left, Jake?
Yeah.
I got to see them one way or another.
Well, they'll. I know that this next game will be on. You'll be able to see most of them, and if not, they'll just sign up for another free trial with another email address.
Yeah, exactly.
And before I go to my other beef, I want to mention something I hate about hockey that everybody else loves. But this is what happens when you get to be an old guy and a long-time hockey fan. Whenever there's a little action by the glass, everybody in the front row has to bang the glass.
It's mandatory.
Sit down. What do you
mandatory.
think? What?
You got to.
Why?
Because you got to be part of it. You're there. You wanna be included.
You look like a
I
Yeah.
like in the Wease rink, the glass is going to be electrified, so they all that would be great.
I like it.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
When this comes out, we'll be in the playoffs.
The finals.
I have to.
No, the playoffs. Just
the playoffs. That
Yeah.
ain't. That's the beginning.
And I just finally finished Heated Rivalry. So that's like all I thought of the whole time watching the hockey.
Is the whole thing gay?
The whole thing's gay.
Ugh.
Gay. All
it
gay.
was funny
There's a
'cause-
whole nother. It introduces a whole nother gay hockey player, and he like comes out at the championships and brings down his gay lover out of the stands.
Oh,
kisses him
please.
right
You
in
say
the
this
middle
like
of the
it's a
ring.
bad-
When's this ever going to happen?
That's what I said,
Never.
but I couldn't.
It was funny because when Lucy was describing it, I was trying to like imagine because I heard it was low budget, like it wasn't a big production. I was like, how are they?
Canadian.
Right, but how are they emulating a Stanley Cup championship like finals game?
They did.
And a guy brings down a guy from the stands onto the ice, and this is a low budget like film. Like, how are they? And
My
I looked it
God.
up, and it's it's in like a minor league arena.
Well, they did it, and it was.
The magic of Hollywood.
But they
But
talk
like
about
someone like
the,
me knows, it's like that does not look anything like a Stanley Cup championship game.
But we don't know. I don't know.
But they actually talk about Buffalo. They mentioned Buffalo in the show once.
Of course.
It's funny, but yeah. Actually, there's a little.
So the Bills like private chef Darren, he's just a chef in Buffalo. He's on Next Level Chef right now, competing, and they're like, "What's the Bills Mafia like? Like, what's it like cooking for the Bills?" And it just reminded me they talk about Buffalo. This is a reality TV show, and this guy's actually cooks for them, and they're talking about cooking for the Bills when he's
That's pretty cool.
Let
cooking
me
for
tell
his
you,
life.
this probably is a sign of a good mommy, but she'll watch any shit that Lucy watches. That's why you wouldn't have watched that.
You're the one who said, "Let's watch Paradise now," because Lucy told you to watch it.
Well, it's not a gay hockey show. She said it's a good show.
I have to say, give the gay hockey show a chance. Heated Rivalry is good.
Oh my God.
It is.
Let
really,
me ask a question. If you could redo the tattoo of Doreen's on your arm of the baseball with the ribbon on it, what would you now be instead of the baseball? Because that baseball.
It's a good
gay
question.
No.
That is a great question.
I still love baseball.
Yeah, no, you don't. I've
Yes,
never
I
heard
do.
you mention baseball once in 30 years.
But I will go to any Met game that if he would take me to. I love going to a baseball
She
game.
does.
I would go to a Red
No,
Wings
you
game.
did back then. I know.
And
It's
I-
funny, but like that didn't live on. So the question is, what replaces
What would
it?
it be now?
I don't even know.
I guess sometimes I'm a pain in your ass, so maybe.
I'm going to tell you a quick last
hemorrhoid.
story about her being a pain in the ass. So yesterday, or I think yesterday. So I'm in a hurry. I got to go to poker and shit. And she always has small chores for me to do. She said, "Will you strip the bed?" I
So we
said,
just had guests.
Oh, please.
And our guests were sleeping in one room. The other room that had guests previously, I had washed the sheets, made the bed, made it perfect. The other bed that our guests had just left from was unmade, ragamuffin sheets everywhere, all over the place. I asked him to strip the bed so I can get the bed ready. What does he do? He strips the bed of the bed that I had just washed all the sheets, made the bed perfectly.
Well, the story was funnier when you told me that he called you and it was like, "What do you want me to strip this bed for? These sheets are amazing. They're perfectly clean. This
Oh,
makes
you
no
told him
sense."
that?
Yeah.
Well, that's the part that kills me because when she found out I stripped the wrong bed, you'd think I fucked the next door neighbor or something. And she
I would have
called me.
preferred you fucking the next door neighbor at that point. I completely would have preferred that.
She lost. You know how she gets with fucking temper, Irish temper, and I'm going. A, I thought I was doing something good. B, when I actually called her and said the bed's beautiful, and if you had your brain on, you would have known. You think I would have said the torn
Okay,
up
if we're
bed?
talking about brains, the
Jay-
person that would have stripped the bed originally would have been the one that should have used his brains. Let's be honest, tell everybody that you're famous for when we have guests, Wease will be like, don't change the sheets. Just make the bed. The bed's
That too.
fine. He
Yeah.
tells me that all the time. So I thought that's what you were doing. I thought you were saying, there's no dirt, there's no
Well,
cum
when you told
stains
this-
on the sheets.
When you
Like-
told the story the first time, that's what I thought he was saying, actually. So when you told me he stripped the wrong bed, it was funny because I thought he was just making excuses not to do it because
Yeah.
he doesn't want to do it, and he's
No,
looking
I
at a
do.
bed that's not made. But then he actually was doing the wrong bed.
Yeah.
I think you're both at fault, though, in a sense.
Yeah,
like,
thank you. Thank you.
Well, I don't want to hit, as a member of the Incompetent Husbands Club, credit to Wease. Also, I don't know. I don't anticipate an invitation to Florida, but if I get one, excuse me if I might stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
Just in case the
you
guest
could-
room sheets are a little crunchy.
It's
Yeah.
highly
You gotta
recommended.
change after a guest, Wease.
Yes,
It's
don't ever
mandatory.
say that.
You
again.
could come anytime you want, but wait a minute.
It sounds
For
like your
guys,
guest did.
for guys that have been in the military or somehow find themselves in Vietnam, some jerk off friends of yours says sleeps in a bed 2 nights. It's fucking fine for the next people. What are you? You're all afraid of cooties?
Yes.
Someone's gonna get cooties.
Nobody wants a pubic
No one
hair.
wants to sleep.
Someone
I don't
else's-
want to sleep in a bed that someone else slept in.
Especially-
Yeah, I have very low standards, but sleeping where your friends were doing their as BJ would say it.
Or drooling
I might go for the
on
clean
their
sheets.
pillowcases.
What do I care? I will sleep.
I know
Show me.
you will. Your standards doesn't say a lot for me, but your standards are quite low.
But that said, when I stay with friends, I strip the bed. I check with them, but I strip the bed at the end of my stay.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're supposed
yeah.
to.
Well,
It's
these
protocol.
people that had left at 3:45 a.m., so I did not expect them to strip the bed.
enough.
So, but usually everyone else does.
All right, that's it, kids. Let's see what's going on. Thank you. I hope you had a good time. Aaron Gold was very interesting dude. Motor Trend magazine. Read them. Learn about what.
Just no. I just want to make sure you end it the way you're supposed to.
Of course, I'll end the show. It's nice to be important, Aaron, but
It's
it's
more
not-
It's
important.
more important to be nice. I've
Yeah, later, kids. Love you.
See ya.
See ya.